I feel like non-binary lesbians should take the word thespians from the theater people. That is y'all's words. Y'all should have it.
Hey, instead of wearing a blue bracelet, why don't you wear a mask? Why don't you wear a mask? These actually protect other people. And I have been accused of virtue signaling for wearing a mask. So that is a perfect thing for you to virtue signal with, because it actually saves lives. It actually protects people. And you know what? It protects you.
Less talked about autistic and ADHD stims, lip or skin picking and hair pulling, counting or repeating phrases, staring at collections of visually interesting objects, repeatedly smelling things with good or bad smells, reorganizing your collections, playing things in your head like games, movies, or songs, playing with jewelry, your hair, or clothes, nail biting or rubbing nails together.
And another thing, every single time eugenics is brought up on this app, people always like to be like, not everything is eugenics. America was founded on eugenics. What do you think racism is? What do you think sexism is? Homophobia? Why do you all think that they're consistently attaching these identities inherently to disabilities? And I think a lot of you get caught up with thinking that things aren't eugenics because some of the very people that represent those identities are spouting the same eugenics. And this is the problem with telling disability history and talking about ableism like it is separate from other isms. Ableism is the one ism that every other bias or bigotry utilizes across the board. How many fill in the blank does it take to screw in a light bulb? That is a joke that literally relies on you believing that a certain demographic is of low intelligence. There are so many people that think that they're immune from spouting eugenics because they represent the very demographic of people that eugenics is generally used against. And as somebody that's a communicator, it adds an extra level of irritation for me when people think that they're exempt. Because while you're just saying poor people shouldn't have kids, I'm asking myself, who do bad faith actors usually represent poverty to look like, racially, gender-wise? Because the welfare queen stereotype may have originally been designed to make fun of white women. Who do you think they're actually thinking about when they talk about welfare queens? And it's similar to when people say disabled people shouldn't have children. I don't care about Buck v. Bell because disabled people should be sterilized. Do you know who Buck v. Bell has more often sterilized than disabled people? Women of color. Despite everybody thinking that it's just for disabled people. Are you all noticing the pattern yet?
I just wanted to remind you guys that Bisan, the reporter from Gaza, has been wearing the same hoodie for over a year. She's been wearing that hoodie, that corduroy hoodie, for over a year.
Food for thought. If you dislike immigrants because you believe they commit crimes, but you plan to vote for someone who has actually been convicted of committing crimes, you don't actually have a problem with crime. If you dislike immigrants because you think they're rapists, but you support laws that say women can't get abortions even in instances of rape, you don't actually have a problem with rape. If you dislike immigrants because you think they're murdering innocent American citizens, but you refuse to support gun control legislation, you don't actually care about the murder of innocent American citizens. So why exactly do you dislike immigrants?
Okay, so what if I told you that I have a better idea than blue bracelets that you can do immediately and it will benefit Black women globally? Hi, I'm Divinity. I'm the owner of Book Crumbs, a small bookish agency that helps BIPOC, marginalized, and indie authors build the fandoms that they deserve. And usually on Fridays, I do this thing where I do like a weekly wrap up and talk about all the progress in my small business, and et cetera, et cetera. But I think that we don't need a weekly wrap up this week because I think we all know how this week went. I think we all know. But because of that, instead of doing a weekly wrap up, I want to try to brainstorm and open up a conversation about how we can support Black women in this moment. And before I get started with that, I just want to give a quick shout out to Black men as well, because I did not expect the 80%. Y'all showed up and y'all showed out, and I will never forget it. Thank you. Thank you so much. But I am going to focus on Black women specifically in this video because it is high time that we get our due. If I was a non-Black person coming across Black people's content of them expressing rage or sadness, like some of the posts that I have made, I wouldn't be in the comment section apologizing for the people within my non-Black communities who did not show up in solidarity with my community. Instead, what I would do is seek ways to put Black women in power and to give us more power and more agency. This election will destabilize Black women, and in turn, that will affect everyone. And make no mistake, you will still be affected if we're like, you know what, we're taking a rest, we're taking a step back, we're not doing this anymore. The education and instruction that a lot of you are seeking is literally packaged into the art that we create. And if we do not have the stability to continue to create that art, just living our lives and leading by example, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that there will be no hope for us all. If I were a non-Black person coming across a Black woman's content, I would not be in the comment section saying things like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm with you, I stand with you. I would want to do something that was actionable so I didn't feel helpless, so I didn't feel powerless. What I would do is go to the TikTok search bar and I would search things like book talk Black women. I would search get ready with me Black women, plus size fashion Black women, disability advocate Black women, gamer girl Black women, artists, movies, TV, music, Black women. And I would find 5 to 10 creators and I would find a way to sponsor their dreams for the next 4 years. Now, the best and most obvious way to do this would be monetarily. If they have a Patreon, if they have a Substack, if they have something that you can subscribe to that for the next 4 years. Make that commitment that you're gonna help them remain stable enough to continue to create the art that, number one, we deserve to exist in the world, but also you will be learning through without them exerting more emotional labor. This will never absolve non-Black women of not doing the real work. You will still have to hold those hard conversations within your own community. However, like I said, if you're looking for a way to separate you from them, this is how you do it. And you don't do it loud and you don't do it to pat yourself on the back for it. You do it because that's what allies do. When you know that we are the community that no one shows up for, you do it because you want to be the person who shows up. So this is how you can show up for me. As I said earlier, I just started my own bookish agency where I help BIPOC, marginalized, and indie authors build the fandoms that their stories deserve. I am on Substack and you can subscribe to me on there. All of the content that I create on my Substack is free because I'm prioritizing accessibility over profit. So you will not get more perks for subscribing, but you will be supporting me, a Black non-binary queer woman who's going to be living under the consequences of this recent election. On my Substack, I write articles like this or like this. Every week I compile a list of diverse and indie authors that you can support. I also platform Black women who are working on their books so we can support them from book talk to bookshelf. And I have a podcast where I sit down and I have intimate conversations about diversity and inclusion in literature, mostly fantasy and romance, and that's called Book Crumbs, the podcast. Like most Black women, I will be taking a step back. I will be taking a break. I will be prioritizing myself. The emotional labor train is out of order. If you want to learn from me, you can learn from me through my art. And what I'm asking is that when you go and glean from Black women, that you make sure that we are stable enough to continue to create the things that matter to us in this world, because we matter in this world. And to Black women, I want to say that I love you. I've never felt more loved in my life. I feel seen, and regardless of the outcome, I feel like we won something that they will never be able to take from us. Black woman, I love you.
Did you know Inuit are indigenous to 4 different countries? Our homeland spans from the western tip of Russia, through Alaska, through northern Canada, right to Greenland. Inuit is kind of like an umbrella term of sorts. There's a lot of diversity between Inuit across this vast span of land. But there's a lot of commonalities. And some words that Inuit will be saying in the western tip of Russia will be understood by Greenlandic Inuit. That's pretty cool. This is from Nauyat. Kwana to the community of Nauyat for taking such good care of my mom and gifting her country food that she gifted me.
you should wear a mask starting today. If RFK is going to be in charge of public health, we need to take care of each other, so we should all be masking. We don't want kids to be getting sick with whatever because he bans fucking life-saving interventions. Get a good one. Get like a KN95, all right? Get a black one. They go with everything. They look really sexy. Then they will go with every outfit if they're black, okay? It's a fashion tip.
Why are you so upset about politics? It's not that big of a deal. Yes, it is, and it's a privilege to not have to care about politics. As a queer, disabled Asian person, my very existence will always be inherently political. And the reality is, there's no way to truly be apolitical in a society where everything you do, both directly and indirectly, has impact on your community and beyond. Where you go, what you buy, what you do, what content you consume, who you vote or don't vote for. Those are all actions that play into existing systems of oppression. Your inaction is an action, one that says that I am complicit with oppression as long as it appears to not affect me. But it always does. Your tax dollars are directly funding genocide and colonization in Palestine, Congo, Sudan, Tigray, Haiti, and much more right now. Your inaction says, I am okay with legislators taking away the bodily autonomy of millions. I'm okay with trans people dying. I'm okay with irreversible climate change. I'm okay with xenophobia and racism. I'm okay if disabled and immunocompromised folks die instead. Friends, let alone acquaintances, don't support people, institutions, and policies that kill and harm you. We can't agree to disagree on the right of marginalized people to exist. But don't let it be lost that if our rights are up for debate every 4 years, we never really had them. True liberation will never be elected under a two-party system when it's intentionally designed to fail us. We can grieve at the results of the polls today while acknowledging the work tomorrow would never be done no matter who won. Like we have done time and time again, we will continue to turn to our communities, to organize, to support each other in mutual aid, to continue to speak and take action. Politicians don't protect us. We do. And that is both terrifying and powerful. So take a breath today and do what you need to do, but it's time to continue the work tomorrow, friends.
The feel when we control your bodies. Hey, we control your bodies. Guess what? Guys win again, okay? Men win again. And yes, we control your bodies. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. It's your body, my choice. And men, women again. Men win again. There will never, ever be a female president. Never. There will never be a female president, ever. It's over. Glass ceiling. Dude, it's a ceiling made of fucking bricks. You will never break it. Your stupid face keeps hitting the brick ceiling. We will keep you down forever. You will never control your own bodies. You will never be the president of the global empire. Never gonna happen, sweetie. Your body, our choice.
Do you believe that Israel has a right to exist?
Israel does exist. Israel is a recognized member of the United Nations. Besides this, there is not such a thing in international law like a right of a state to exist. Does Italy has a right to exist? Italy exists. Now, if tomorrow Italy and France want to merge and become Ita France, fine. This is not up to us. What is enshrined in international law is the right of a people to exist. So the state is there, the state of Israel is there, is protected as a member of the United Nations. Does this justify the erasure of another people? Hell no. Not 75 years ago, not 57 years ago, surely not today. Where is the protection of the Palestinian people from erasure, from annexation, from illegal occupation and apartheid? This is what we need to discuss.
If you think you can community organize well enough to make it through the next 4 years, but you haven't worn a mask since 2020, you can't. You can't. You do not know what community is. You do not know how to protect other people. Scratch that. You are not willing to do what it takes to protect other people, to do like actual work. You know, you have to be a little uncomfortable sometimes to get things done. And I know that it like sucks to wear a mask. You know what sucks more than wearing a mask? getting polio because they're gonna outlaw vaccines. You know what sucks more than wearing a mask? Not being able to vote ever again. Living in a true corporatocracy. Oh, I can't wait. One of the major factors of why there was a rightward shift was COVID. People decided they would rather be conspiracy theorists because it's easier to handle and have somebody to blame, which for a lot of people was the Democrats, for the really hard time that 2020 and 2021 mostly caused, because after that, everyone just pretended like it wasn't happening.
You're a witch. Get the fuck up.
You right.
Go do some spells or some
right.
shit. Why are you crying?
You ain't never fucking lied.
You're a dillweed, you're a dillweed secretary, and you're probably some dillweed I've never met! You're 3 dillweeds being dillweeds, and you're going to dillweed this place into the ground!
This is gonna come off as like too early, but I'm already seeing posts about people talking about how they're taking to the streets and how there's gonna be protests and rallies. And while that's good and dandy, we saw what happens when y'all go to protests and rallies, aka for Palestinians, for the last year, and how when you don't make actual demands and when you're not willing to leverage anything or withhold any form of like labor or resources from the empire, nothing actually changes. Like they have your vote and y'all lost, so now what? Because it can't be we're gonna withhold our vote. Now what are you leveraging? I'll give you the answer. It needs to be your labor. Y'all need to be willing to actually not show up for these corporations that don't want to protect you and your rights. You need to show up for your community members. I saw somebody on here talk about we need to be doing more mutual aid. We did it on Halloween. We were giving out free candy. You went out and brought candy for children and gave it out with no intention of getting anything out of it. We need to be doing that, but year round. Imani was talking about, along with other disabled people, talking about how on election day, ride shares and ride sharing in general is so accessible between Uber, Lyft, and people just willing to take people to the polls. You need to be doing that more, not just for the polls, but for everyone, not just for disabled people, just helping out your neighbor. You need to be figuring out what your neighbor's names are. What health conditions do they have? Like, what's going on in their lives, you know? Like, we already have, like, the global stage, everybody's already tuned in, so it can't be about bringing awareness. Everybody's already aware of what's going on. We need to start turning things into tangible actions and like ways that people can get involved. Like, it's gonna look different based on your local community, obviously, because you need to be going outside and engaging with your physical environment around you, because what works for me isn't gonna work for you. But it can't just be take it to the streets and yell and bang and scream no justice, no peace. That's not going to work. We need to get literally active.
I thought you were kidding! I thought it was a joke! I even wrote it down in my diary! Veronica had a very funny joke today! I laughed at it later that night!
How are you? I voted for her.
Oh, okay.
I voted for Kamala. You believe me, right?
Yeah, I mean...
I voted for Trump. Kamala.
Yeah, you
I vote Kamala.
I got your... Why are you crying? No,
I got him an ally. Oh, you're right.
Can you...
I don't even care what my boyfriend wants. You know what I'm saying? I vote for me.
Wait, your boyfriend voted for Trump?
That's not important. I hate us. If I could be anything else in the world, I would.
What?
Anything.
Stop.
I mean, I'm scared of the plague too, but it's not like life as normal can just come to a stop. We're getting away to the countryside for just a bit. Oh, it's gonna be so boring. My husband has a lot to say about the land disputes around Jamestown. I stay out of it. In this house, we think everyone can coexist. Well, not my husband. Just feel like dumping tea in the harbor was a little dramatic. No politics tonight, okay? Just say it. These guerrilla attacks on the British are ungentlemanly. There's a right way and a wrong way to go about things. My husband has opinions on the slavery thing. I stay out of it. No politics. Okay, People don't understand marriage. I'm like, okay, you go out in the world and try to find someone you agree with completely. No politics tonight. It's like, ladies, speak for yourselves. I don't want the stress of voting. Nobody likes what happened at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, but now no one wants to work. Okay, so there aren't enough lifeboats, but screaming about it is a lot. Yes, 75% of the third class didn't make it, but they're not even asking if my husband was okay. And luckily he was able to get on a boat. It just doesn't feel like it's our war to get into. It just doesn't feel like it's our second world war to get into. I just don't read the news anymore. I used to read the news all the time. I used to love the news. Everyone just wants to get to work, and then there's all this bus hubbub. When's the last time I took the bus? I hate that everyone is upset, and I wish there were a way where nobody was upset, but I just feel like blocking up the roads with a protest isn't the answer. Life is hectic, and it's about caring for our neighbors. What are our neighbors' names? Dale? Haley, did you see these tank tops? They say spiritual gangster. I'm getting one. She uses they, them pronouns? But she dresses so girly. I mean, my husband voted for Trump and I said, don't do that, don't you do that. No politics. What matters is we all love each other. No one's even talking about what Biden's done for infrastructure.